We are back, although this one is recorded for you guys out there. So the California Lodging Investment Conference wrapped up yesterday. But the good news is we're still here, back in time.
We are.
Right?
We just got off stage with a great panel about cost, expenses, how everything is going up, labor costs, insurance costs, a lot of challenges to getting deals done. But that's why we have such a great guest right now, Cesar Wurm, the Vice President of Commercial for the Premium Brands with IHG.
Cesar, I'm psyched to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, man, we've known each other for a while, but we don't get to do this,
yes,
right? Which I really love. And I got to tell you, I feel like IHG's got some real positive forward momentum right now.
Yeah.
So it must be really fun to be in your particular position.
Yes, it's great. And just building on the panel we just came off is certainly great way to be focused on driving revenue. And to your point, we just had our conference for franchise commercial and operations. And we discussed a lot about that, the momentum that we're having as a company over the last few years, everything from the loyalty build to the brands that we're developing, development, performance, technology. So it feels good. There's always more to do.
Yeah,
it feels good.
For sure.
So Cesar, again, we're talking about all these expenses and all these different challenges that owners are facing right now. And obviously one way to kind of fix that is driving top line.
Yes.
And that's where you're heavily focused on. You're going to be doing a panel shortly on that. What are some of the focus areas? We heard from Bruce Ford earlier, both in the keynote and during the live episode that we did before that, some of this.
And you can check that at novacancynews.com and wherever you're getting your content right now.
Yeah. So some of the, the international travel isn't back fully. Business travel is not back fully. There's a question of if the revenge travel is going to start winding down. So what are some target areas for hoteliers across the country to focus on and continue to drive that top?
Let me just jump in. I wish the term revenge travel would wind down. I can't stand that.
I'm using Bruce's expression.
I just can't.
Expression.
I just like why it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why are you fighting against travel? We're not taking, we want to get out there and travel, not take revenge against it. Anyway, sorry to hijack you.
No,
Cesar.
not at all. I think there's several things. If you're a branded hotel, there is a lot that you can use your brands and the services, the tools they offer to ensure you're optimizing performance and really ensure that you're thriving. We're always trying to acquire as much business as possible from a low cost perspective.
Right.
You know that.
Book direct, people.
Exactly. Book direct. And hence the big focus for us in loyalty and ensuring that we make it easy to book and so on. So that's number one. And then number two is really just getting sure that you, to the previous discussion, know your market extremely well. Of course, each market's performing at a different level.
Yeah, and I also just want to say that it's frustrating because we don't have a benchmark and we just kind of like draw everything together in one number for the country, but it doesn't really apply.
Yeah, absolutely. Because to the discussion, it's very different. You have markets that are very hot, performing extremely well. New York having a very strong April from a market perspective with occupancy for the market, and you have other markets that are still struggling. Like the House and Resort Pool Club and Smokehouse. We are not getting the volume of customers that we would like over there. That's probably because the pool's closed.
Because you don't got Cesar running your commercial.
I know.
I got to get Cesar on board.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of putting in a tent in the backyard this year. So maybe you can help us.
I'll join you. I'll join you there and drive some business.
So what are some of the ways that big brands, whether it be IHG or any other big brands out there, are helping owners, helping leadership teams that are on property drive those bookings?
Yeah. It's just really ensuring that we're becoming more and more efficient. I think that as part of big brands want to make sure that we're utilizing the technology that's available. So utilizing AI, we're launching a new forecasting and pricing model to ensure that is much more data driven and build the trust. So then you free up people to really do what the computer can't do.
Exactly. And I think that we are really at the forefront of that. And we didn't really address this issue with the panel that we just had now, which had a labor component to it. But the more of the boring routine stuff that we could give to the computers to do, the fewer people will need. And the people that are in the hotel could focus more on creating amazing customer experiences, which build loyalty and help create that premium pricing. Right?
Yeah, couldn't agree more. So I think from the commercial side is having the best possible tools, so you can rely on computers to do what they do best. and then allow for the strategic thinking and engagement with customers, with clients, with global sellers to ensure that we're, really driving all channels.
Yeah.
And I think you're spot on. I think the beauty of the AI, Gen AI, is that there's so much that we can do to rely on the machines to do what they do best, and we become better at those touch points that they, can't deliver on right now.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we were talking also about the level of conversion, right? A lot of conversions are out there right now.
Yes.
And a lot of brands are.
So let's just drop the name Garner Hotels, their brand new mid-scale conversion brand. Make sure you check out my video with the incredible Karen Gilbride, where we talk all about the brand and do a VR tour of that. Again, you can find that at novacancynews.com.
Absolutely.
So as someone like you, Cesar, who is responsible for driving marketing and driving revenue to the various brands that are out there, how do you keep it under control and be able to differentiate, which segment this new brand or any brand really in the system is targeting, and then drive that focus to those specific people as it expands out to have more and more brands?
Yeah. Great point. And great interview with her.
Yeah, she's the best.
Awesome.
She's just so easy to talk to. I think I spent 20 minutes after the talk telling her how awesome she is, which she is, by the way.
Yeah, she is. But yeah, I think it starts with the right offering. Make sure that we partner with owners on the right brands for the right markets. And the addition of Garner, for example, is a white space that we had. We identified that's a quick flip. So that doesn't require a lot of investment from an owner's perspective, and can drive the right value to the market segment. So we got to make sure that it makes sense from a market perspective, and then we can pull it through our digital contribution, and then also global sales, the partnerships we have, and ensure that we can help the local sales effort too.
Yeah, and that's important. All right, so one of the things that I'm hyper focused on right now is I'm really afraid that we're not going to be able to continue pushing rates. So we have to kind of think about this a little bit differently.
Yes.
With you focused on premium brands, you have a great opportunity to think about total revenue per the individual human being, that customer. Right. So how are you thinking about getting more dollars out of people by getting them to spend more outside the actual room rate?
Yeah. Great point. And I think this is a big focus over the last year and a half or so, because to your point, we're trying to push rate as much as possible, but it's kind of plateauing.
But like, sorry to interrupt, but not all guests are created equal. And if you're selling a room for $150, it might be the perfect move for one guest.
Yes.
But you could have charged $10 less for another guest, but earned $50 down at the restaurant or something like that.
And then I think the second point that you're bringing is make sure that we are also offering things of value and what they want. So big focus on F&B offerings, ensure that we're providing what the customers actually want, and then also how we're optimizing technology to either drive those opportunities ahead of time or during their stay, to ensure that we optimize that opportunity.
Two things I don't want: free complimentary newspaper and local calls.
That's not part of the amenity fee.
I still see some of that sometimes on the resort fee thing, and I'm like, seriously, this is killing me.
No facts.
It's funny.
Facts.
One of the major casino resorts included in the resort fee was you could get stuff notarized. Right. So I felt like I just wanted to go down there and have someone notarize stuff all day long, so I could feel like I'm getting a value.
Cesar, obviously you guys do a lot of great work, and certainly we talk a lot, for performance stuff. But there's only so much that from the brand level that you guys can do, and obviously it comes down to a specific time where the ownership of the individual asset or group of assets, as well as the on-property team, they have to take that step. Right? They have to be kind of focused on things. Yeah. And there's always this major push, because costs are going up, to lower expenses. And part of that is we talked about just before, getting direct bookings, getting those lower cost customers, those lower cost guests into the building, and then developing brand loyalty. You mentioned loyalty several times. Right. And IHG has obviously made a very big push over the last couple of years. Certainly we both know about that, to redevelop and redefine that loyalty program. What can owners do? What can on-property teams do to help enhance those their own property to drive that focus? Because there's only so much that the brand can do from a individualized level.
Yeah, great question. And I think we can do better job from a brand perspective, but also on property. I think it's just ensure that we can properly educate and relate the value of each initiative. Because as an owner, of course, right, I would be very, hey, if I can cut this expense, let's do it. Yes, you can always cut, but at what cost? Right. So you just kind of see, instead of a cost, kind of the investment. And there are things that, hey, maybe you need to be optimized, or you move X to Y, but just ensuring that we take the time to relay back, because a lot of times, you have owners that are experts and know extremely well what the opportunities are, and some that are truly coming from an investment perspective that needs that, additional collaboration to get there.
That makes sense. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is this loyalty issue, because I'm struggling with it a little bit, in the sense that I understand how important loyalty is, but I'm seeing in society, and particularly with the way I live my life, I've got 5,000 loyalty cards. So if I have a loyalty card with everybody, am I actually still loyal to anyone? And these programs that say we have 5 billion members in our program, how many of them are actually using it? So how do you think this through to create real loyalty as opposed to claiming you have loyalty?
Yeah, fantastic point. That's a constant evolution. Yeah. And I think that was part of the rebranding and really actually redoing of our loyalty to IHG One Rewards, because we realized that, for example,
and you redid that program last year?
No,
or 2 years ago. Oh, wow.
2 years ago. Yeah, it's fast.
That's just because I'm old.
Moving fast. But for example, before we had rewards that would be, if you hit one tier, everyone got the same benefits. Right. Now realize, like, hey, this does not really make sense. So let's customize and allow people more flexibility to choose what makes sense to you. Right. So then you become truly loyal versus using whenever it's of benefit.
Because if I'm getting a benefit that doesn't appeal to my lifestyle, then it ceases to be a benefit.
What's the point?
Right. And it's not going to be a differentiating factor.
Yeah, exactly. So it's making sure that, again, we're, giving what our guests need, and ensuring that we're also making it easier to engage. Our app is, continue to evolve, but became much better. And we make it meaningful engagement and easy. Right. Easy of access.
That's true. And that's a really important point. Removing friction from the process, right? I talk about this an awful lot, because the more things you can remove that create that friction, the easier it is for the customer, and the more willing they are to spend money with you, not just once, but over and over again, right? Yes. That's why I love some of these new check-in kiosks that are coming.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, because it gives me more choice.
More choice.
I happen to like talking to the person behind the desk, because I have some sort of sick fascination out of them looking down and typing for 45 minutes just to get me a room. But if the line is too long, then I'll just go to the machine, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Some days you feel like talking to people, some days you don't feel like it. So give you that option, and then we got to deliver on the guest experience. That's another big focus.
Yeah, man, I don't know how you all do it, because I'm in a different mood all the time, and the experience that I expect changes, not just depending on what's going on in here, but the purpose of my trip and the specific hotel I'm at, and just feels like every guest is a moving target to get to understand them.
Yeah, and that has shifted so much since the pandemic, because before it was there's a clear delineation usually between business and leisure, and now it's just like a big blur. But the beauty is that technology is really allow us to segment that. So that's something that we keep very close eye to ensure that, hey, okay, you're doing one trip with us, but happens to be for both reasons. So how we can ensure that we're delivering what you need and communicate with you in the way you want.
Yeah, I think that's really an essential thing to do in the future. And I think that's where technology is going to really open up opportunity for you to get closer to the guests, while simultaneously being able to strip out some of that friction and expenses.
Couldn't agree more.
As well. Anything else, Dave?
No, Cesar, always was a pleasure to talk to you. We really appreciate all your help. So thank you so much for all this kind of content.
Thanks, an honor being here.
This is great. I want to thank all of you for watching our continuing coverage here at the California Lodging Investment Conference. Be sure to subscribe. Text the word hotel to 66866. That's hotel to 66866. See you all another time.
See you later.